zu zweit zum Dritten.
We move from the seaside to the forest of the Eifel region. It's part 2 of the 2022 Porsche Carrera Cup Germany season. Hello everybody. Zandvoort seemed like a long time ago, didn't it? Well, it was the end of June. We are now moved into Germany for the rest of the year for the Carrera Cup Germany. Conditions are perfect. 19.6 degrees centigrade is the temperature. The sky are blue. The day has started perfectly for Dylan Pereira for Iron Force Racing by Phoenix, who starts on pole position for this race 9 of a 16 race season. It's all systems go for part 2 of the season. The man who's leading the points starts second on the grid is Lauren Heinrich. He's currently 32 points ahead of Larry Tenforder in the points championship. And oh, there's a surprise, is Larry Tenforder, who starts third on the grid just behind Lauren Heinrich. You count out Larry Tenforder at your peril, because he is always there or thereabout. He had a great qualifying session this morning. It was an unusual qualifying session that saw many drivers getting into trouble, particularly into turn 1. We saw, must have been 2/3 of the field, at least one point or the other, having big lockups always into turn 1 of this circuit. There's Luke Hartog, who starts in 4th position on the grid, and he is looking to get his championship chase back on track. Gives us a wave in the Black Falcon Porsche. Now, every driver you speak to has a different reason for locking up into turn 1. Some believe it was a tailwind, some believe there was fluid on the track, some believe it's to do with brake bias, some believe it was just to do with going too hard on cold tyres, as we look at Bastian Boos, who lines up 5th on the grid. Whatever the reason, there was all sorts of dramas into that turn 1. And at one point, we had a red flag for Morris Schering, who'd gone off into the gravel trap. He had taken avoiding action from teammate Lauren Heinrich, who had locked up into turn 1. They'd both locked up. Heinrich had gone into the runoff area and had somehow survived and got back onto the track. But Morris Schering had to take avoiding action, ended up in the gravel trap. It brought out a red flag with 5 minutes to go in qualifying. And then we had this scramble, the final 5 minutes, where cars were out on cold tyres trying to improve their grid position. And it was lively, to say the least. Rudy Van Buren lines up in the number 57 car, 6th on the grid. And there is Huub van Eindhoven. He is our highest placed rookie driver in the number 29 car. So Huub van Eindhoven, one of the talent pool drivers, and he is coached and mentored by Wolf Hensler, and he is looking to move to the top of the rookie standings. That position is currently occupied by Lorcan Hannafin. He jumped to the top of the rookie championship at the Red Bull Ring, and no, he didn't. He did it at Zandvoort. And Alex Fack, his teammate for Fack Racing, he is in 2nd. He was bumped from the top of the rookie championship. Huub van Eindhoven 3rd in the rookie championship, just 36 points adrift. We also have a Pro-Am Championship that has currently been led by Jan-Erik Sluten. As we look at Morris Schering, that was the car that ended up in the gravel trap, and now starts this race 9th on the grid for SSR Huber Racing. In the Pro-Am category, Jan-Erik Sluten not feeling 100% this weekend. He's been fighting a nasty virus for a couple of weeks and was not feeling great. So he's done well, but he's qualified a long way back from his main championship rival, Carlos Rivas, who is the leading Pro-Am driver. There is Alexander Fack, also one of the Fack Auto Tech cars. Very rapid indeed. He's another of the talent pool drivers, and he is the one who is the closest challenger to Lorcan Hannafin in the rookie standings. Don't forget Alexander Tauscher as well. He is 4th in the rookie standings, 48 points back, as we look across at Lauren Heinrich on his in-car camera. We also have the team championship. It's SSR Huber who lead that at the moment, ahead of Team GP Elite and Allied Racing, who are 3rd. The lead of SSR Huber Racing is 58 points, but that can all change in the blink of an eye. There's an eerie silence on the grid at the moment. That tension before a race is about to begin. It is wonderful. You can hear your own heart beating. Dylan Pereira currently thinking about what's ahead of him and thinking about turn one, thinking about getting around that turn one cleanly. But there is that silence at the moment. The grid is clear, and very shortly the instruction will be given for the engines to start. Bastian Boos for the Allied Racing Team, he took his first ever win in Porsche Mobile 1 Super Cup at Paul Ricard just a couple of weeks ago. He really is one of the up-and-coming talents. There are so many up-and-coming talents. The board is held up. And warning the drivers that it is 1 minute and it's time to start those engines. If you've never experienced Porsche Carrera Cup Germany before, if you've never seen them live, I would really recommend that you get on down and witness one of these races. There is nothing like it. 32 of these Porsche 911 GT3 Cup cars roaring along at the same time. It is both deafening, spectacular and terrifying. They are one of the most spectacular series doing the rounds, and it is a real privilege to be here at the Nürburgring witnessing race 9 of this 16 race season for Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. The Nürburgring, we're using the sprint circuit this weekend. It is 3.629 kilometers around, so relatively short, 11 turns, 4 to the left and 7 to the right. There is about 7.5 meters of elevation change. It's pretty narrow in places. The best overtaking opportunity is about where we're looking now, the end of the pit straight into turn 1. There's a bit of a bump into turn 1 as well, which catches drivers out, and there you often see many an incident into the runoff area in turn 1. So it's the place where you can gain a lot of places. It's also the position on the track where you can lose a lot of places. So we're on to the formation lap. And this is the moment where the drivers need to work hard to get heat into the tyres. Let's have a look at the grid. It's Dylan Pereira who lines up on pole position with championship leader Lauren Heinrich for SSR Huber alongside Larry Tenford, a defending champion, alongside Luke Hartog for Black Falcon on row 2 of the grid. Row 3, Bastian Boos and Rudy Van Buren, Allied Racing v Huber Racing. And then an all-GP elite row 4, Huub van Eindhoven and Max van Splunteren. They're ahead of Morris Schurin and Alex Fack, both in the Rookie Championship. Richard Wagner, great qualifying from him, ahead of Jesse van Koik. Lorcan Hannafin down on row 7 with Lucas Cronenveld for company, and then Ariel Levy and Yuka Honkavori on row 8. Row 9, Alex Tausch, who's disappointed with his qualifying. Lucas Erthel alongside him. Row 10, Carlos Rivas keeping it together to challenge for the Pro-Am title alongside Harry Prochik for HP Racing International. Then Dan Van Koik and Georgi Donchev on row 11 of the grid. Row 12, Jan Seifert and Zoran Spreng, another of the Black Falcon runners. Row 13, Pro-Am Championship leader Jan-Erik Sluten lines up alongside Ahmad Al-Shihab, and on row 14 it's Jonas Greif and the guesting Tim Stender. We welcome him from HRT Motorsport. Sebastian Freimut is on row 15 of the grid, and another of the FAC Autotech cars, Christoph Langer in the Pro-Am category. Kai Pfister and Mark Thomas are also guesting in this race this weekend. They're shown at the bottom of the timing screens. I haven't seen them on the grid yet. We'll let you know whether they make the start of the race. There's a bit of squinting going on. Come on, line it up. Absolutely inch perfect from Dylan Pereira, getting every single millimeter on the grid. What great shots these are. This is Bastian Boos also lining up with his marker on the grid. You don't want to give away a single inch on this circuit, but you also cannot exceed your starting position, otherwise you will be deemed to have performed a jump start. On board with Carlos Rivas in the Black Falcon car as well, and he looks to the side to make sure he's in the right position, and the tension absolutely rising here at the Nürburgring. I can confirm that Kai Fistu, sitting in for Holger Harmsen, and also Mark Thomas are on the grid, and they line up at the back of the pack. All eyes now to those lights up above, and we're going to wait for the red lights to come on. When they go off, we will be racing. It is, of course, a clutch start, and it is a 30-minute race plus 1 lap for Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. The lights go out relatively quickly. Dylan Pereira, I think, was caught napping a little bit. Lauren Heinrich moving up to the inside. Pereira tried to shut the door on him, but the Heinrich car had already filled the gap. Larry Tenforder also looking there. Heinrich going very deep into turn 1. Pereira fighting back for all he's worth. The rest of the cars make it around turn 1. It's Lauren Heinrich who is leading the way. Dylan Pereira scrapping to hold on to second place because he's got Larry Tenforder alongside 2 cars running side by side now. Larry Tenforder challenging for the lead from Lauren Heinrich. Larry Tenforder taking the lead of this race. What a start for Larry Tenforder. Lauren Heinrich suddenly shuffled down into 3rd place. Bastian Boos and Luke Hartog are there as well. The rest of the cars come streaming through. The roar of these 32 cars, absolutely deafening, but what a start from Larry Tenforder from 3rd on the grid. He just held back. He saw that Heinrich and Pereira were going to get together, and he took his opportunity. And look at the gap that Larry Tenforder has pulled out already. He wants to be the first driver ever to win 3 titles in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany, as Lauren Heinrich now looking to make up some of that lost ground into the Wiedel chicane. He comes challenging Dylan Pereira. There's Luke Hartog challenging Bastian Boos, but he's got to be careful because Huub van Eindhoven is there as well. No, it's not. It's Rudy van Buren and Huub van Eindhoven. Both of them are there. So Luke Hartog looking to move forwards, but he doesn't want to lose position by challenging that car in front. So Larry Tenforder leading the way. Dylan Pereira, Lauren Heinrich. Look at this fight into turn 1. Luke Hartog at the head of that battle. Then it's Rudy van Buren and Huub van Eindhoven, who are alongside each other, and Maurice Schering also getting stuck in as well. Lots of fighting for position. Some would say it was a bit of a jumbled up grid. That is Huub van Eindhoven in the green car going wide. There's a car that's over. Georgi Donchev. The car has rolled over. This is surely going to bring out a red flag. I cannot remember the last time I saw a car on its roof in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. There is Dan Van Koyk who's involved as well. He is rushed over to check that Georgi Donchev is okay. The safety car is out. I'm expecting that this will probably go to a red flag. Georgi Donchev just being helped. Great stuff here by Dan Van Koyk, just helping him out. But Georgi Donchev, the car on its roof, you can see there's been a big impact. Dan Van Koyk helping. Clearly those two had got together. And pleased to say that Georgi Donchev is out of the car and looks as though he's okay. Heads shaking. Safety car is out at the moment. Maybe they're going to rectify this under a safety car. I kind of expect it to be a red flag. The last time I think I saw a Porsche on its roof in a Carrera Cup Germany race was probably, I think, Zandvoort in 2019. I seem to remember Leon Köhler was involved with another car that saw it up and over. It doesn't happen very often. Oh, look at that, doing it themselves. Who needs the marshals? That is not going to do the suspension a lot of favours. I think that car is going to need a bit of work before race 2 tomorrow anyway. So all credit to them. I don't think we're going to need that red flag that I'd predicted. But Georgi Donchev rolling the car. Going to be interested to see if there's a replay of this. Very spectacular indeed. The car back on all fours. Right, let's have a look. Let's see what happened. And Van Koyk had spun. Donchev had got together, just hooked up on the wheel arch, and the car was over. And oh my word, that was quite a roll, wasn't it? A double roll for the number 2 car coming to rest on its side. And that was absolutely spectacular. And you can see them getting together. We have a quick look at the stewards who are looking on, and this is a view of the stewards' room as we see what they're up to, and they were looking at that situation and assessing it. They've got a great view of everything there. The view from Jan-Erik Sluten, he really did have a trackside view of that one. The Georgi Donchev car going up and over. Absolutely spectacular stuff. And pleased to say all drivers are well. There was another car that spun as well. I can't really take my eyes off the rolling Porsche to tell you who it was. I think it was Sebastian Freymut who was involved in there as well. Wow, amazing stuff. That's out on turn 5. And great stuff, great sportsmanship. Dan Van Koyk, his only interest was to get out the car and check that Georgi Donchev was okay. Pleased to say that Georgi was all okay, helped from the car, and wow, that's a wake-up call, isn't it? The clock continues. We're behind the safety car. A really spectacular moment in race 9 of Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. So good to see the sportsmanship. Great camaraderie between all of these drivers, actually. They all get on remarkably well when you consider they're fighting each other out on track week in, week out. A real community here in Carrera Cup Germany, everybody vouching for everybody. And the medical officer just checking in with Georgi Donchev to make sure that he's all okay, and he will be checked out. And no doubt he's all good to go, which is more than can be said for the number 2 car. That's going to need a bit of work done on it, and I think Huber Racing may have a late night ahead of them if they want to get that car on the grid for tomorrow's race. We're behind the safety car, and it is high drama indeed here at the Nürburgring on the sprint circuit for Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. Race 9 of this 16-race season. This is round 5. And it is Larry Tenforder. I've forgotten all about the race. We've been watching the stock cars out on turn 5. It is Larry Tenforder who leads the way. And yes, people looking, I think the photos and the videos of that will be replayed for a long time to come, because it wasn't just a roll, was it? It was a spectacular roll. And Georgi Donchev, all good. The car, not so good. And the remnants of that will be hauled off the circuit. And having another look at the start here, Pereira did not get the best of starts, and Heinrich very quickly out of the traps, and you can see them bouncing off each other as they headed into turn 2. Larry Tenforder, ever the opportunist. Not a great start for Luke Hartog either. A good start for Bastian Boos, who jumped up into 4th place. And Boos just keeping out of all the dramas that are going on ahead of him. This is the view, and Heinrich was moving long before Dylan Pereira was. There's been nothing on our screen to indicate a jump start, so I think Dylan Pereira probably just napping a little bit. The red lights were on for a fairly short amount of time. It's a random sequence, the start sequence, and the drivers, nobody knows how long it's going to be before they go from red to green. And it was a fairly short transition from red to green. And you do wonder whether Pereira was caught napping just a little bit. And you can see it was more than just a little bit of rubbing into turn 1 as well. Bastian Boos, let's see how he got going. And we were waiting at that point. And we were still waiting. And, oh, well, no, that's it then. Okay, well, as you were. The low loader is taking the Georgi Donchev car and back to the pits. And the team will need to get weaving on that fairly quickly. I should think that all 4 corners are going to need, and the top is going to need a fair bit of attention. So back he goes, and the safety of these cars are so good, and the energy was dissipated. As far as we can tell, Georgi Donchev, no issues there. Right, now we're going to have another try at Bastian Boos on board. You can see at the start, he got the jump on Hartog and almost on Larry Tenforder as well. Went very deep into turn 1, just keeping out of all the dramas. And then had a good run out towards turn 2, where the surface changes, and there really is a different level of grip in turn 2 than there is on the exit of turn 1. And it's only when you walk around the circuit you see that. There's Hartog in the background with Huub van Eindhoven behind him. A lot of jostling at the start of that race. Right, safety car looks like it's going to be in. on this race, this lap. Yes, it is. And Larry 10-Forder leading the way. We suddenly cut to that. So we are back racing. We're into green flag. A little over 20 minutes plus 1 lap of this race remaining is Larry 10-Forder, who once again has caught Dylan Pereira napping, and Lauren Heinrich in 3rd place is potentially going to make a challenge on Dylan Pereira. Bastian Boost just a little back, then Luke Hartog, Rudy Van Buren. Here comes Heinrich on the inside of Pereira. The two cars get together. Heinrich spins, and Heinrich is going to watch the entire field streaming past our championship leader. This is maybe the first time we've seen him drop the ball this year. He has been pretty unstoppable all season long, but he rejoins, and most of the cars have passed him. Heinrich's chance of a podium today almost certainly gone. Let's have another look there. He looks to the inside into turn 1 under heavy braking. Pereira shuts the door. There's a little bit of contact, and the number 3 car is sent a-spinning, and Pereira continues on his way. This is going to have very big implications on the championship standings, particularly if the cars around continue in the positions they're in. Lauren Heinrich will be thoroughly disappointed with that. Looked like he caught a bit of curb going into that corner as well. So the number 3 car has to watch, and of course that frantic 3-point turn as the rest of the field are streaming around behind you, and all you're thinking about is, I need to get back in the race. Lauren Heinrich will not be chuffed about that. Larry 10-Forder leads the way. Dylan Pereira in 2nd place. It's Bastian Boost up into 3rd. Luke Hartog in 4th, but he's got Rudy Van Buren on the inside of him. Luke Hartog, always a fighter, and seems to have spent most of the season fighting with Rudy Van Buren. Buren has found a way past. Hartog now challenging back, but keep an eye on Morris Schering. He had a traumatic qualifying session this morning and has fought his way back up to the lead pack, so keep an eye on him. He is there as well. We're looking at battles up and down the pack. Is Rudy Van Buren, who's muscled his way past Luke Hartog. Hartog down to 5th. Morris Schering, man on a mission. Also Max van Splunteren up into 7th place in the number 24 car, and just behind him the leading rookie Huub van Eindhoven, having a great weekend. More drama further back. That looks like Richard Wagner, who has been muscled out of the way by Jukka Hunkavori. There is all sorts of rubbing going on further back, and Wagner now losing position, and it is Lucas Grunewald in front of him. So Richard Wagner, driver coming under increasing pressure. He had a really good qualifying session this morning, put a good lap in at a time when the track was really peaking. Now we look down towards the Vidal chicane, turns 9 and 10. You can see how much of the curbing the drivers take, and you can see that Larry 10-Forder has a good lead as they cross the line from Dylan Pereira. It's 0.4 of a second. Bastian Boost behind, and Grunewald going very wide out of the corner, and Lucas Grunewald with Wagner as well. That's a battle that has been raging all race long, and here we go into turn 1, the scene of many an instant. There's Harold Prochik there as well. Carlos Rivas, the leading Pro-Am driver, 19th. He's got Jan Seifert behind him, but also Soren Spreng. Soren Spreng in the Pro-Am category, so he needs to keep an eye on that one. Ahead of him you can see Harold Prochik, and Prochik just smoking the tyres into the corner. So, all sorts of drama going on here in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. We're approaching the halfway point of the race, and we have seen an awful lot of action. We're following the Jan Seifert car from the perspective of Carlos Rivas, and Seifert in 20th, and Rivas in 19th now, as he's found that route past Lucas Ertl and Howard Prochik, also running together on the circuit. Larry 10-Forder is our leader by 0.4 of a second. Dylan Pereira, a man who seems a little bit revived after the summer break. It felt a little bit like his head had dropped after some of the incidents earlier on in the season, particularly the 5-place grid drop that he picked up at Imola. But he appears to be a man who's gathered it up and had a good summer break, and he's come back with all guns blazing. Larry Tenforder, a driver that he has duelled with for many, many seasons. And once again, these two stalwarts of Porsche Carrera Cup Germany lead the way. Bastian Buus, the very impressive Bastian Buus, who won his first ever Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup race just 2 weeks ago. He is riding on the crest of a wave in the final of the podium positions. Rudy van Buren in 4th place. And Luke Hartog behind him in 5th place. Then it's Morris showing a good recovery from that trouble qualifying this morning, and he's picking up the places. Then a good performance from Max van Splunteren, and he'll be looking for his best result of the season if he can move forwards another place or so. Right, challenge for the lead. Can Dylan Pereira do anything about Larry Tenforder? Because Pereira, who has been slow out of the blocks on both the starts we've seen, is certainly looking very rapid. To remind you, these cars are all identical. It is just setup is the only thing that differs them as they drive over the chicane rather than around it. Dylan Pereira, he does look as though he's going to challenge Larry Tenforder, doesn't he? Right, into turn 11. This is now the best overtaking opportunity on the circuit. Picking up the slipstream. Doesn't look like he's close enough to do anything into turn 1. He's directly behind him at the moment into turn 1, under braking. Larry Tenforder, not one to be flustered by having his mirrors full. He takes the optimum line through the corner. Dylan Pereira using a little bit of curb, but Larry Tenforder has this covered off at the moment into turn 2, and Pereira still staring at the back of the Larry Tenforder car. Bastian Buus is quite happy if these two are battling each other, because this is going to allow him just to nibble away and maybe mount a challenge of his own. Bastian Buus closing in on the lead duo. Dylan Pereira, if he's going to make a challenge on the lead, he needs to do it before Bastian Buus is on his back bumper, because if he makes that challenge and it doesn't stick, Bastian Buus will be through. So there is Larry Tenforder. It's a replay, and chicane, what chicane? I'm going over, mate. Look at that, 4 wheels off the ground, airborne, doing whatever it takes to shortcut the Vidal chicane. They build them strong at Porsche, and these drivers don't half-test them. Rudy van Buren in 4th place, Luke Hartog behind him. These two drivers, Van Buren and Hartog, appear to have been challenging each other in every race of the season so far. They are always fighting with each other. Real entertainers here in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. Yukon Kavori there in the number 40 car, a driver who is really improving as this season goes along. He's down in 13th at the moment, but he is also going to be looking to challenge. That's Hoop van Ijhoven taking a very different line along the pit straight. Is he challenging for position, or is Lorcan Hannafin challenging Eindhoven? The lead still very much as it was. Larry Tenforder, the timing screens say 2/10 between them, but that is varying on every corner. Bastian Buus looks to be closing in. We're going to keep an eye on that gap. It was 9/10 of a second the last time they crossed a timing line. We'll keep an eye on that and see whether Bastian Buus is closing in. By my reckoning, he is quite significantly by every lap. We've still got 12 minutes, a little over 12 minutes, plus 1 lap of this race remaining, and there's still plenty of time for this to change. Hoop van Eindhoven, you just saw him go through your picture there in the green car. Lorcan Hannafin challenging him, and that will be for 1st place in the rookie standings. It's 8th on the track, but of course we have the rookie championship running within this championship. We're having another look at Lauren Heinrich trying to work his way back through the field. And that is Lucas Ertel that he moves his way past. So Heinrich is up into 17th. So a couple more places and he'll be back in the points. But this really does feel like damage limitation now for Lauren Heinrich after that spin following the contact with Dylan Pereira in turn 1. Here come our leaders once again across the line. Now let's see whether Bastian Buus, well, you don't need a timing screen to see whether Bastian Buus is closed up. He's taken 3/10 out of it. So Bastian Buus now making himself very much part of this lead battle, because it's 0.672 between 2nd and 3rd. The 1, 2, 3 running together. Larry Tenforder in the orange and black car, Dylan Pereira in the white and multicolored car, and Bastian Boos in the blue car. 1, 2, 3 out on the track. 11 minutes to go. Once the clock strikes 0, there will be an additional lap, and that will bring an end to the race. So plenty of time for all of this to change. Rudy van Buren is 2.5 seconds back from Bastian Boos, and he has his own battle going on with Luke Hartog. Maurice Schöring rushing to join that battle, and he's made a great recovery after starting further back down the pack than he would have wanted. But our eyes very much on this lead battle, and you can see the view from Lauren Heinrich on the top left of your screen as he works his way through. He's in 17th place at the moment. He's got Lucas Grunewald in front of him, and he has that depressing sight of all those cars that are between him and a good haul of points. So here come our leaders once again. Pereira looking closer than ever, and it looks like they've just pulled away a little bit from Bastian Boos in 3rd place. So is Pereira going to try anything down into turn 1? We'll keep an eye on that as they tear along the pit straight and out in towards that turn 1. And it looks like Lorcan Hannafin has found a route past Hubert van Eindhoven, who goes wide, also picks up some dirt. So Lorcan Hannafin through into 8th place on the track, but importantly for him, leading the rookies. Lorcan Hannafin, Hubert van Eindhoven in 9th and 2nd in the rookies, and Alex Fack in 10th and 3rd in the rookies, and they're running together on the track. 1, 2, 3 in the overall race, running together on the track here as well. Dylan Pereira, surely only a matter of time before he makes a challenge. We continue to ride on board with Lauren Heinrich on the top left-hand corner of your screen as he works his way through. He's found a route past Lucas Grunewald. He's up into 16th place. Next is Ariel Levy in 15th. So we've got one eye on Heinrich and one eye on this lead battle. Larry Tenforder going very wide, a little bit of dirt, doesn't look to have impeded him too much, and still he continues to lead the way. And Lauren Heinrich is the fastest man on the track. He's got the fastest lap of the race so far. Again, to complete another lap. Now, is Pereira close enough? I'd suggest probably not. And at the risk of repeating myself, to remind you, these cars are all identical. There isn't a big opportunity to suddenly make up time. Tyre preservation is an issue, so if the driver is taking too much out of the car too early on, as we look at Heinrich fighting with the wheel in the top left of your screen. Great shots of how he's having to work hard. But the drivers need to play the long game with these tyres, because you take too much out of them early on, suddenly you're going to be left defenceless at the latter part of the race. 8 minutes remaining. Larry Tenforder leading. 1, 2, 3 running close together. Lauren Heinrich, after that spin, the championship leader, trying to work his way back through the pack. Still Ariel Levy in front of him, and still a lot of work to be done. Our leading rookie, Lorcan Hannafin, 8th on the track, ahead of Hubert van Eindhoven and Alex Fack. Our leading Pro-Am driver, Carlos Rivas, ahead of Soren Spreng and Ahmad Al-Shihab. The leader in the Pro-Am standings, Jan-Erik Sluten, well, he is 5th in that category, down in 27th. So he's not had great health this weekend, and he really does look to be struggling, and he'll probably be pleased to see the checkered flag. We've lost Dan Van Koyk and we've lost Georgi Donchev after that spectacular rollover at the early part of this race. And Lauren Heinrich hustling that car across the curbs, and it looks like he's found a route past Ariel Levy, and now he sets his sights on Wagner ahead of him. So along the pit straight we come once again to complete another lap, and it is Richard Wagner in the 95 car, and Lauren Heinrich moves to the inside. Wagner not really putting up much of a fight, so that is 14th place for Lauren Heinrich. So he is back in the points now, and if the race finished now, that would be 2 points. And he's still got his eyes on moving up further. Yuka Honkavori is the next car up the road, and then Alex Tauscher, but he is running out of time. A little under 6.5 minutes plus 1 lap. So still opportunities, but Lauren Heinrich, after that spin, an awful lot of work to do. The 1, 2, 3 remains the same, and then a big gap back to Rudy Van Buren, Luke Hartog, and Maurice Schering once again. Larry Tenforder going out a lot wider, picking up a lot of dirt, and Dylan Pereira still closing the gap on him. You can see the gap evolution from the graphic on your picture, but you don't need any timing screens to tell you that these three are pretty well welded together. Out of turn 11 they come now. Pereira looks closer than he's been at any other point so far. This is on board with Pereira, staring at the race leader along the pit straight. He's got the slipstream here. Will he make a move on the inside or the outside? If he doesn't, Bastian Boost might. See Bastian Boost just looking to the inside, and it's maybe the presence of Bastian Boost that is stopping Pereira from challenging Larry Tenforder, because if he does so, he might lose that second position. He might lose it anyway. Bastian Boost, once again, a real entertainer. Once again, man on a mission. Bastian Boost, the newest winner in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. He took his first ever win of the series at Imola back in June, and he is moving on up and has been all season long, it has to be said, and now wants to elevate himself up from third step on the podium to maybe second or even first. Less than 5 minutes plus 1 lap of this race remaining. And the stewards have had a look at the incident that took place between Dylan Pereira and Lauren Heinrich and have declared that no action is necessary. They've decided that there was no crime committed. So Dylan Pereira, if he was worried about a penalty, needs to worry no more, because the stewards have decided that that is not an issue. Heinrich, our timing screens say that he's up into 14th place, and I can confirm that because that is Jukka Honkavori in 13th, who's just ahead of him. Make that 13th place now, because he nips to the inside. Honkavori, again, not putting up too much of a fight, and Lauren Heinrich is now up to 13th place. Next up the road to him is Alex Tauscher, but Bastian Boost has got his eyes on Dylan Pereira's second place. And Pereira, having been the hunter for so long, is now, as the hunted, having to drive defensively and having to get his elbows out to fight Bastian Boost, and that is giving Larry Tenforder some real breathing space. And the 25 car is able to stretch at the front, and with Heinrich not going to be scoring a great number of points in this race, this is going to put Larry Tenforder right back in towards the top of the championship. It won't be the very top, because he was 32 points behind coming into this race, and it's 25 points for a win. But if things stay as they are, he will have closed in significantly on Lauren Heinrich. And when all is said and done and everything's added up at the end of this season, Heinrich might well be ruining this race here, race 1 at the Nürburgring, race 1 of the weekend. Those are the 1, 2, 3. They've broken clear. Now it looks to me like Luke Hartog has found a route past Rudy Van Buren. This is such a familiar scenario, isn't it? We saw this so many times at other races. These two drivers just swapping places almost by the lap. So once again, Hartog has found a route in front of Rudy Van Buren. Don't know how it happened, but it happened. And Maurice Schering now lining up the number 57 car to see if he can find a route past as well. So Hartog back up into P4, and he'll probably be happy with that. He did say before this race he was looking to just pick up points and not do anything too dramatic. I'll believe that when I see it, because Hartog can never resist a battle. But 4th place it is, and Heinrich once again moves up another position. This time it's Alex Tauscher, who is a victim of the number 3 car. So Heinrich up into 12th place. 12th place would give him 4 points in the standings, a 4-point gain in the standings, which has got to be better than nothing, which is what it was looking like at one point. Next is Jesse Van Kuijk ahead of Lauren Heinrich, and the number 26 car, well, we don't know what kind of battle he's going to put up, but Jesse Van Kooyk is the next car up the road. Here is the leader, Larry ten Voorde. Here is second, and here is third. Bastian Boos has been pressuring Dylan Pereira for the majority of this race. Looks like he's just backed off a bit at the moment, and it looks like Luke Hartog, having got past Rudy Van Buren, has been able to open up a gap fairly quickly. He's not going to have time to catch up with Bastian Boos, not to mention pass him. And again, on board with Lauren Heinrich. Great way of monitoring two things at once here as the leaders come back across the line and into turn one. So let's have a look. Heinrich up to 12th. Jesse Van Kooyk is the car ahead of him. But we're into the final minute. When the clock strikes 0, we will have one more lap. So about a lap and 3/4 for our leaders remaining of this race. Bastian Boos isn't done yet. He wants that second position from Dylan Pereira. Larry ten Voorde says, come on, bring it on, because as long as you're challenging Dylan Pereira, I am able to stretch my legs at the front. Pereira now having to think really hard how to keep the 99 car behind him. We're having a look here at Alex Fack locking up. Oh, there's a familiar scenario into turn one, challenging Huub van Eindhoven. That would have been for 9th place and for second in the rookie standings. And again, Lauren Heinrich continues his march back up through the field. And that is the replay of Alex Fack running wide into turn one. Here come our leaders again, and very shortly to start the final lap of the race is Larry ten Voorde, half a second ahead of Dylan Pereira. Pereira dropping back as a result of defending the ever-charging Bastian Boos. The young charger along the pit straight. They start the final lap of the race. Here comes Larry ten Voorde into turn one for the final time. Bastian Boos ducking to the outside, back to the inside, back to the outside. Pereira locking up into the corner. He goes deep. Bastian Boos through. He did exactly what he needed to do. He monstered Pereira into a mistake. Now Pereira coming back. This is the view from Pereira. Challenges to the inside of Bastian Boos. He sees a gap on the inside. Now Pereira back through to second. Bastian Boos back down to third. Can he do anything about it? Yes, he can. To the inside comes Bastian Boos. 2 wheels on the dirt, running side by side. Bastian Boos back into second place. Great stuff from these two drivers. Is allowing Larry ten Voorde to break clear. Dylan Pereira, what a challenge, and what an even better challenge from Bastian Boos. Moving up into that second position, Luke Hartog, well, he was willing the two of them to get together, wasn't he? So Luke Hartog watching it all in the background. Here's a replay. It all started, oh, it was turn one. There's a surprise. Dylan Pereira locking up that wheel. That left a gap on the inside. It allowed Bastian Boos to jump through, but then it was the fight back from Dylan Pereira. Brilliant stuff. Good, clean racing, and they all made it around. No contact at all. Proper stuff. Porsche Carrera Cup Germany, Larry ten Voorde now coming out of turn 11 across the finish line to take the win. Race 9 of the season. Larry ten Voorde, he waited for his moment. It was Bastian Boos. He also waited for his moment to pounce on Dylan Pereira. Luke Hartog in 4th place, finally winning the battle with Rudy Van Buren. Morris showing a good recovery for him into 6th ahead of Max van Splunter and his Lorcan Hannafin, who wins the rookie standing race, crossing the line in 8th place ahead of Huub van Eindhoven in 2nd. Lauren Heinrich, after that spin, back into 10th place. What a recovery from him ahead of Jesse Van Kooyk. 12th place, Alex Tauscher, he takes the 3rd step of the rookie podium, and Yuka Honkavori and Alex Fack in 14th place. Not a great race for Alex Fack, who was leading the rookie standings going into Zandvoort. Then it's Richard Wagner, Ariel Levy, Lucas Grunewald, Harold Prochik, Lucas Ertel, Jan Seifert, and then come the Pro-Am drivers, Carlos Rivas, the winner of the Pro-Am race in 21st, ahead of Soren Spreng, 2nd in the Pro-Ams in 22nd, Jonas Greif, 23rd, and then 3rd place in the Pro-Ams, Ahmad Al-Shihab, 24th across the line. There is your classification. A spectacular race. It had everything. It had drama. It even had a rollover. Larry Tenforder leading the way from Bastian Boos and Dylan Pereira. Luke Hartog fourth. Rudy Van Buren, Maurice Schuring, Max van Splunteren, Lorcan Hannafin, Huub van Eindhoven, Lauren Heinrich, Jesse van Kuijk and Alexander Tauscher rounding out the top 12 ahead of Yuka Honkavori, Alex Fack, Richard Wagner, Ariel Levi rounding out the top 16, and then Lucas Grunewald, Harold Prochik, Lucas Ertel, Jan Seifert, and then Carlos Rivas, head of the Pro-Am, Soren Spreng, Jonas Greif, Alhamed Al-Shahab in 24th, then Sebastian Framer, Kai Pfister in 26th, Jan-Erik Slooten, race subdued to Jan-Erik Slooten in 27th, and then it was Tim Stender even in 28th, head of Christoph Langer and the guesting Mark Thomas. There's Max van Splunteren, stationary out on track with the hazards going. He finished P7. It does look as though he might have just made it across the line before some kind of drama has hit him. That's out between turns 8 and 9. I don't know, maybe he's run out of fuel, but the 1, 2, 3 into Parc Fermé. What a battle that was. And Larry Tenforder really keeping his head together, biding his time. He started third on the grid and he finishes on the top step of the podium. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why he is a 2-time champion of Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. So it took him a little while to get up to speed this season, but he's certainly done that now. And of the last 4 races, he's had 3 wins and a 2nd place. And that will now project him up into 2nd place in the standings by my reckoning. And there you go, 13 points adrift off the leader. Bastian Boos very much in the championship hunt. And he's a driver who's getting better and better. Dylan Pereira drops, well, he was in 4th coming into this race, but losing space to Larry Tenforder, losing ground to Larry Tenforder and to Bastian Boos in the championship hunt. And looks like he's walking with a bit of a limp, actually. So Dylan Pereira jumping onto the scales next. And of course, weights heavily regulated in Carrera Cup Germany. This is not a gathering of the Weight Watchers Society. There is Larry Tenforder. A real return to form in the 2nd half of the season. The Team GP elite driver really fighting back and taking the top step of the podium. That feels very rude listening into conversations, but that's what we like to do.
We have to check, but it's okay.
And there is the fastest duck. Follow the duck, follow Bastian Boos.
There is a watch or something, but here there is nothing. Well done, mate. You are the hero of the day.
And there's Wolf Hensler, the driver coach for the talent pool, does a fantastic job with 8 of the young drivers, coaching and mentoring them. And the proof is in the pudding, as they say, because the 8 talent pool drivers really are exceptional.
Ready?
So there's the carts in Parc Fermé. You have the Pro-Am cars behind as well. And in a few moments, we will see the drivers up on the podium, certainly for the overall race win. Pleased to report that all is well with Georgi Donchev after that spectacular rollover. And as Morecambe said about the car, and that was just part of the drama that we saw here in this race 9 of the season. And we get to do it all again tomorrow, don't we? So Larry Tenforder just making his way to the podium. It really did look at one point this season as though he was going to be out of the championship hunt, because although he was picking up consistently good positions, he wasn't getting the race wins. He had to wait until the 2nd race of Imola before he got his first win of the season. And since then, he hasn't looked back. There is the 3rd place car, Dylan Pereira, in the number 94 Iron Force Racing by Phoenix Porsche. In 2nd place, Follow the Duck, Allied Racing's Bastian Boos, one of the talent pool. and another podium position for him. But the driver who, for some parts of some seasons, makes the top step of the podium his home, and he's starting to do it again this season. Larry Tenforder for Team GP Elite, taking his third win of the season. So some lovely replays of Larry just celebrating his race win, and a real mature drive, just keeping out of the trouble, letting it unfold in front of him and making the jumps when he needed to. So there are the trophies waiting to be presented. Great to be back at the Nürburgring, the first time since 2019 for the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. Back then, it was Julian Andlauer who did all the winning. He made it a double. Larry Tenforder will be looking to emulate that this weekend, have no doubt about it, and he will be red hot tomorrow as well. Team Championship trophy there on the table. The GP Elite team waiting for the drivers to emerge on the podium. And many of the celebs of Porsche Carrera Cup are gathering there as well. And the team and the families. Right, here we go. Out onto the podium. Dylan Pereira. Well, he doesn't look ecstatic, does he? Because at one point, it looked like he was probably going to win this race. But it was third place in the end. National anthem time. So the national anthem done, hats are back on. The Michelin hats. Here comes Huri Isaac, project manager of Customer Sport Porsche, who presents the winner's trophy. He's a legend in his own lunchtime, and he presents second place also to Bastian Boos, and third place to Dylan Pereira. And the winning team, in this instance Team GP Elite, will also get a trophy from Huri as well. So, pure entertainment from Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. That one will be replayed for a long time to come for all sorts of reasons. Some of them good, some of them bad. Certainly good for Larry Tenforder. He's taken the top step of the podium. Bastian Boos, watch out. This man is on a mission, and he is going to be challenging the top of the points before too long. And Dylan Pereira, he started from pole, but third place was all he could manage. We're going to do it all again tomorrow. Join us then for race 10 of the season, race 2 of the weekend from the Nürburgring.